Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. Online Trading Academy teaching people just like you for over 25 years how to trade and invest. Content in center, locally here, physical classes, and online. So that way, our education is available to anybody, anywhere, at any time. And by the way, we have these free investing classes that a lot of people have been texting into. Congratulations to those of you that got set up for this investing class. We do these classes during the week and on the weekend. They're about 2 hours long. Al teaches these, I teach these as well. And we talk about how the market works, how it functions, income strategies with the market, retirement strategies, which we'll talk about in this segment here, but making smart investing decisions moving forward. And that's what it comes down to, is having a consistent strategy in the markets. And you need a core strategy to do that. Online Trading Academy has that core strategy that's designed to follow the banks, to follow the institutions in your accounts. Text the word investing for 2 tickets for this class. Text the word investing to the number 210-210. That's text investing to the number 210-210. We make it real simple for people. Everybody loves to text these days, Al. Even you and I, we even text these
I
days.
finally learned how to do it.
And we made it real nice and easy. So if you're driving, please pull over and text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats for this investing class at our local academies. But we did talk about those different income strategies during working years, and in what you want to find in your investment analysis is turning points of price, turning points in the markets. And that's where you find the lowest risk, highest reward, and highest probability entry points in the markets. And you made a couple good points in that last segment in people's income trading or their income strategies. A lot of people are in the hole this year on their income accounts, really, quite frankly, their wealth accounts as well. And you mentioned don't just wait for it to come back. Why not have a strategy as this market goes down? Have a strategy if this market continues to go sideways. If you look at the markets, really, it hasn't done a whole lot. It's at the same price it was at back in November. So no movement, no growth for people. And people that are looking to retire need some returns. What are some of the strategies that you're helping people and introducing them to, especially in these investing classes? But when you meet with people, what are you introducing strategies in the markets for, as far as if someone has let's start with an IRA, and they're not getting the returns they're hoping for? How do you help people cross that bridge to get, a strategy and a plan to where they are now and then where they want to be, let's just say in 6 months, 2 years, 5 years down the road?
Well, first of all, start with this. Are there people that are making money in these markets regardless of which direction it's going? Are people successful? And the answer is yes. And if that is the case, then wouldn't it be of value to you just to find out what they're doing and just follow them? Use the same strategy that they're using, the same, it may be different strategies for different people, but as far as how they're addressing the market goes up, it goes down, it goes sideways. And what is your portfolio doing? Is your portfolio benefiting all 3 ways or just one of those directions? And if it's only benefiting in one direction, then you probably need to do something different. It's not anything that is just just specific to the big firms, Wall Street firms. These are things that you can do as individual investors. If you have the right kind of retirement plan set up, you can use these income producing strategies in those retirement accounts with protection. The real goal in retirement, and we cover these in these classes, number 1 is protect your assets. Number 2, generate income off of them instead of drawing from them. And number 3 is grow them. And we're going through a period of time now where inflation is having a big impact. Unfortunately, a lot of people in retirement are taking out credit, taking on more debt to, take care of this increase in the cost of living.
Yeah.
With the market and most 401ks down about 25%, what's happening is that people that are retired have to access some money somehow because the cost of living is still there. It doesn't, when you retire, the cost of staying alive doesn't go away. You still have bills you have to pay. So if the market went down, if your portfolio went down 25% and you are now drawing money out, you're drawing out a higher percentage of that money just to survive.
Yep.
When the market turns around and goes back up again, you may not have enough money to really kind of pull your portfolio or have it pull out of that hole that it's in. And Wall Street will tell you, when the market's down, don't sell things. Well, that's great advice. But if you're retired and that's your only source of money is from that retirement account, you pretty much have to sell. So what you're doing is you're going against what Wall Street is telling you to do. And what we're saying is that you should have a plan in retirement where you don't necessarily need to rely on the amount of money you have in your retirement accounts other than taking required minimum distributions. Learn how to use it as an income generator and then also grow it at the same time. We have a strategy for wealth and retirement that we'll talk about in these classes too that does that. It has an income portion, it has a market participation portion, has a cash portion. Last year, when the average 401k was down about 25%, this strategy, which is a very conservative strategy, was up for the year, and that's a pretty substantial statement to be able to say when we had such a bad market for most people.
Yeah, there's so many different things that are happening these days with inflation, and we got earnings coming out right now, especially. So people are afraid to get started, and that's sometimes the hardest thing to do is actually, Al, is get started.
It's that taking the first step.
It's that first step, and you really guide people through this show on being comfortable wanting to do that. And then we've had a lot of people come to these investing classes and be introduced to a lot of these techniques and concepts in the markets. And it all comes down to is just having a consistent strategy.
Right.
And that's what you need in the markets, especially in those retirement accounts. So if you're looking for that consistent strategy, more confidence going into retirement or staying retired, just check out one of these investing classes. You probably have the time. People are working from home these days, so you pretty much can do what you want nowadays. Text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats for this investing class locally right here. It's a hands-on physical place to go to learn about the markets. Text the word investing to the number 210-210 right now. So, Al, we talked about IRAs. Let's just say somebody has a 401k.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say, riddle me this. If somebody is investing every other Friday,
right,
because it's just their paycheck and X amount goes into their retirement account, 401k, and the market's just continuing to go down, especially for this past year.
mm-hmm.
Does that make sense for people, or are there opportunities? Let's just say if somebody has a retirement account and rather than putting the money into the market there, are you seeing a lot of people want to be introduced to being able to create their own retirement account as well?
Sure.
So what are some of the things that they can do and not just have that 401k?
Well, 401ks, we talk a lot about 401ks and how there's so many negatives there. There's some real positives there, too. Number one, it forces you to put some money away for retirement. And number two, if you have a plan or a sponsored plan that has a match for your employer is matching a certain percentage of what you put in, that is free money. That's really worth taking. But the problem is people do this. They have that certain amount of money taken out of their check. Maybe they have part of it matched, and then they just kind of put it on cruise control. My guess is that a large percentage of people in this country don't even know what's in their 401ks or 403bs. So number one, let's look at what you have. Find out what you have access to. There's always going to be something that will be outperforming and underperforming. There may be a time period where just being in the stock market is not the right place to be. You have something. I think every 401k, every 403b has something else that you can get into that might be a cash or cash equivalent type of investment. So let's look at what you have in those retirement accounts, how you can manage those accounts. But then what most of our students do, Josh, is instead of putting additional money in after their match has been met, they'll maybe set up a self-directed IRA. When you leave a company for whatever reason, you can roll your 401k into a self-directed IRA without a tax consequence or a penalty. And then you have the ability to use those income strategies that we talk about, the options market, the futures market, the foreign exchange market, if you have the right education to do it. You can protect your assets. You can benefit in an up market, a down market, a sideways market, and you know what? And there's no fees.
That's the great thing about it, Al, is that 4-letter F word in the financial industry, and it is a family show, it is fees. That can be a detriment to your retirement accounts. Is a 2% fee, which is pretty much on a low end.
Sure.
That could be hundreds of thousands of dollars over a course of a
Yeah, I
lifetime.
figure 50 to 75% of what you could have is gone.
Yeah, and think about that. If you had potentially 50 to 75% more, what would that how would that make your life look?
Sure.
Would that make a big difference to you? If you think it might, well, come to one of these investing classes, see what the different opportunities are with 401ks and IRAs, self-directing, all that jazz with your retirement accounts. That's what you work so hard for. Start protecting that and growing that on your terms. Text the word investing for 2 tickets for an investing class to see how those concepts are, see those techniques. Text investing to the number 210 right now. Al, we had earnings starting this week here. We had PPI this week, and you always have great tips. Let's hear today's OTA tip of the week.
Well, Josh, in order to succeed in anything, you have to make a decision. Not a hope, not a wish. It's a decision to take responsibility for where you are and where you want to be, and then do something about it. If you want more control over your time, more control over your financial security, your well being, you can have it, but you have to take the responsibility to get it. Everyone has challenges, but successful people take on those challenges and they concentrate on what could go right instead of what could go wrong.
Yeah, if retirement is just a hope or just a dream right now, let's start a plan. Start a plan to reach that goal. Text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats for our investing classes right here at our academies or during the week and on the weekend. Anybody can attend. Text investing to the number 210. We'll see you at the class this week. As always, same time, same place next week. Until then, retire young, my friends.